Good morning, Kushamadid world. This morning, Pashisha Vandita Sahar Kalevaim. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, ji ayanu bakhair agale ni hao, churushum washwale, ohai genzaimas, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan masalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, bhalli kire, hosh galden, and thank you very much everybody for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning. Alongside the very fantastic, amazing, well-learned and wonderful colleague who happens to be Miss Maheen Jafri, and I happen to be Shahzad Ehsan Khan. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. Happy Friday, first of all. We're entering into a weekend. I think nobody can keep calm when they get to know that it's finally going to be a weekend as well. But first things first. Hello, Maheen. How are you doing today?
Hello, Shahzad. I'm doing perfectly fine. How about you?
Well, I think so far so good, and so I seriously really need to push myself every single day, and it's because of the fact that, from Monday to Wednesday, I'm working till 1 at night, and, when I go to bed, it's literally hard for me to wake up in the morning, so I always give myself a little bit of positive talk, and ladies and gentlemen, that does have an impact on you. And just yesterday, I was actually reading a book where the book said, in fact, the book kind of told me that, hey, you know what, it's really you who needs to tell your brain how to kind of make you feel. You really shouldn't be kind of going with what your brain is already feeling. So I keep on telling my brain, hey, you know what, I have slept enough. Even though I know that I haven't. But what about you? How's your day so far?
Exactly, Shahzad. I'm feeling exactly the same like you were feeling yesterday, just telling myself, come on, you can do it. It's the last day, you can do it. There are many people out there, I think, who are working from 9 to 5 or people who are doing more stuff like Shahzad here. And they would be thinking to themselves, bas ek din, bas ek din.
Bas ek din.
Bas ek din. So that was it.
I think that's wonderful and it's important. But, let me ask you, so how do you think it has had an impact on you? That all positive self-talk, do you think that it definitely did make a difference, or do you think that it was a little difficult for me to kind of get into that zone?
No, I think it does, because I was telling you about the smile that day. Because the brain actually releases neurotransmitters. It is like a fact. It is a science-based fact, and then you actually
endorphins are being released.
Yes, then you actually feel it, and over a period of time, you can't say something can happen overnight, and you're just saying it to yourself and not feeling any effect. That's not going to happen ever. So you have to be really consistent in whatever you do, especially if you talk about stress and positive self-talk. Why not? Why not tell yourself you're the best, you can do it, you can get through the day and things like that.
Wow, and I like it. And I like it, how for whatever I'm trying to kind of give away to people, that even my entire team members are actually picking up on that as well. And one more thing, before we actually move on towards the top stories, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, that yesterday when we were worrying about the tomorrow, which is today actually. So I think that, we really need to keep the worry away, and it's because of the fact that we really need to live in the moment. Make sure it is at times very difficult, it is hard at times as well, easier said than done as well. But if we are not going to live the life, because we're not immortal, we really do not have a lot of time to our hands as well, so why not live to the fullest? Which is why, I'll be actually heading out towards Faisalabad today alongside my brother. Faisalabad happens to be my village as well. And I think I'm looking forward to a great trip too, and that too alongside my elder brother. Wow, that's wonderful. So if you guys are planning to go somewhere, don't go to Faisalabad. Faisalabad, I have work over there. It's going to be very hard. Please make sure that you don't go near Faisalabad or Lahore. It's going to be 40 or 41 degrees as well.
So, ladies and gentlemen, he's actually trying to tell this to himself so that he may feel good about it. Yes, he's going there. That's a hot spot, but yeah, that's okay. Everything is fine.
And I think that the only thing I'm worried about is wearing black shalwar kameez. So imagine what's going to happen to me as well. But without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what's happening all over the world and in the world of sports. Top stories coming up. So what do we have first, Maheen?
Well, we have Prime Minister TRT interview. Turkish President Erdogan thanks Prime Minister Shahbaz for visiting Ankara on the 75th anniversary of Pakistan.
Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has stressed the need to transform Pak-Turk fraternal ties into bilateral strategic economic partnership to benefit the people of two countries. In an exclusive interview with TRT World, he said in this regard, the recently signed protocol of achieving $5 billion trade between the two countries is a great initiative. Wow, what a good news. The Prime Minister highlighted that Turkey can help Pakistan in promotion of commerce, e-commerce and agriculture. He said Turkey can be an active part of Pakistan's policy to meet its energy demand from renewable resources, as it has a vast experience in hydel power projects. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif Saab said he has proposed the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to include Turkey in multi-billion-dollar CPEC project. He said turning the CPEC into a trilateral project with Pakistan, Turkey and China would be beneficial for the region. And just as we mentioned yesterday as well, ladies and gentlemen, that the president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, took it to Twitter as well, where he actually kind of congratulated Mia Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif Saab, the Prime Minister of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has thanked Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif for visiting Ankara on the 75th anniversary of Pakistan-Turkey diplomatic relations. In a tweet, President Erdogan said, "We are prepared to further develop Turkey-Pakistan relations in light of the two nations' shared history, friendship and potential." Wow, that's wonderful.
Oh, we have an amazing relationship with Turkey, and yesterday, you know what, two flags were draped from a tower as well, one of Turkey and one, of course, of
Wow,
Pakistan.
and it's wonderful. And when I say Hosh Garden, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you say good morning in Turkish.
And it sounds so good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that as well. And now moving on, where we all know that Sri Lanka cricket women team, ladies and gentlemen, is visiting Pakistan in the first three T20s. Pakistan women cricket team whitewashed them as well, even in the first ODI. But today it's going to be the second ODI in the South End Club in Karachi. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see what the story tells us. Second ODI to be played tomorrow in Karachi. Today, in fact, the second match of the women's ODI series between Pakistan and Sri Lanka will be played today in Karachi. In the first match, Pakistan women beat Sri Lanka by 8 wickets. Batting first, Sri Lanka were 0 at 169 runs in 47.5 overs. In reply, Pakistan achieved the target in 41.5 overs for the loss of 2 wickets. Well, that's wonderful. I think it's fantastic. You guys have done a phenomenal job. Because if we look back in time, ladies and gentlemen, when it was the ODI Cricket World Cup for women, I think that unfortunately Pakistan was not able to compete with teams like Australia, New Zealand and India. And I think that we're getting better every single day. So hats off to the chief selector, hats off to all the players. Tuba Hassan, a great debutant in the T20, has actually done a phenomenal job. We're good with fielding, we're good with batting. I think all we require is a little bit of pace. And for that, inshallah, in days to come, we will certainly work on that.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. But now, I think let's talk about when we say, and we have spoken quite a lot about anxiety, depression, panic attacks and all such sort as well. So in your own individual capacity, how do you make sure to get rid of all of these things? Because they truly do mess your life up.
They mess your life up. And Shehzad, if I tell you, every one of us these days are going through so much. Everyone, like you talk about students, they're going through the stress of having, good grades. You talk about youngsters, they want to have jobs. You talk about people who are looking forward to get married. They want to, they're stressed about their partners, and those who are married are stressed about earning more. So it's like a non-ending.
Thank God you said that. I was like that, you're going to say that, those who are already married are looking for more partners. Thank God you didn't say that. Yeah.
No. That's just your brain telling.
That's not my brain. That's the way. That's how you said it, All right. So for all of those viewers, if you think that she said it that way, you can write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of?
Well, this morning.
But please continue. Go ahead.
So I'm having a laughter fit. So why don't you?
All right. So I'm going to take forward. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, so imagine that there are a lot of things which do create pressure onto you as well. And in daily life and in daily businesses, you do come across a lot of stress. It may be because of work, it may be because of family, and it may be because of your relationships as well. So, a lot of people have a lot of toxic relationships which they can never let go. And it's because of the fact that they do know the importance of that particular person. But imagine if somebody's good with your father, your mother, your sisters, or everybody else, but the gentleman or the woman does not really have a good relationship with you. What's the point of having that relationship in the first place? And at times I do think that, everybody should know when is the right time to move on. Over here, what we do is that we kind of try to linger on with things as well, and we see it as destiny. Well, that's not what it is. In life, what we really need to do is that we really need to learn from our past experiences. We need to forecast based on our past experiences. We need to have role models. We need to have teachers. We need to have gurus. And we really need to make sure that, we sit down with them, we take something from them, from their experiences. And that's the shortest way. And in fact, that's the only shortcut which will take you to success, when you listen to others, how they encountered problems due to what situation, what conditions, and when you learn from them, without even attempting yourself, I think you will save time for yourself, and you will be at a better, far better position where they might be right now as well.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
talking about depression, ladies and gentlemen, we need to share something with you. Please go ahead, take a look, and we believe that it's going to help you in making sure that you actually turn out to be very smiley early in the morning. Yeah, let's do that.
Depression, major depressive disorder, is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. Depression causes feelings of sadness or a loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed. It can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems and can decrease your ability to function at work and at home as well. Depression symptoms can vary from mild to severe and can include sadness and irritability, feeling hopeless, loss of interest, decreased concentration and indecision, change in sleep, change of weight and appetite, sense of worthlessness. Depression can be quite severe and even deadly if left untreated. Fortunately, it is the most treatable of mental disorders. Between 80% and 90% of people with depression eventually respond well to treatment. A licensed therapist can support people who are suffering from depression and help them learn that there is hope they can make it through an extraordinary painful time. When there is a will, there is a way.
So it is definitely much more than what we're feeling sad as well. And to be very honest, for people who actually suffer from depression, ladies and gentlemen, there's no willingness for them to do anything. They do come across sleepless nights. Imagine that it is mind-boggling for them to just not having control over their brain, and where and how those thought processes take them into a very negative sort of a field. But it is the support system, and we really need a holistic approach. We really need to make sure that a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a psychotherapist, the gentleman or the women's father or the mother or their brothers and sisters are actually around them, always around there, to make sure that that whatever they need, from whatever kind of support they need, is being extended by that support system. And only then, alhamdulillah, and a lot of people have come out stronger, and they've made sure that they're going to turn their life around, but the will needs to be from the inside.
Be there, exactly.
So if that will is going to be there, inshallah, Allah is going to help you too as well. And please make sure that in the first place, the very foundation needs to be that you really need to have faith in Allah Almighty, and everything will be sorted.
That will, inshallah, that will comes from basically acceptance. If you're willing to at least accept that you're going through something, and that too, depression is more like a clinical term that develops over time if you're not managing your stress, or you're getting distressed and everything. Even if you're on the road, just imagine the kind of traffic we are in, especially during the rush hours. Even that can create a kind of stress. And when you look around the people, even in your workplace, Shehzad, sometimes, you can easily tell that he or she is going through something. There could
But
be
don't
frowns.
tell, yeah, please. Even if you feel like it, don't tell it to anyone at your workplace that, hey, you know what, God forbid, is everything all right?
And
never say that.
You know why? No, but
Ask them, how are you doing
Yes.
today, but never tell them, hey, you know what, you look depressed today. Why would you say that? That's such a negative thing to say.
Yes, exactly. And then something very important is how you personally should know how to cope with that. The stresses you're going through, you have to notice them first, accept them. And Shehzad, there are different mechanisms. We were talking right before the program, like the breathing techniques. I think they work wonders. Yes, inhale and then exhale. When you know you're going through that, why would you deny yourself, you're not going anywhere, you're sitting in the comfort of your own place, maybe on a yoga mat or something, but you're doing that breathing practice. It is so important.
It is definitely important, and this breathing practice, ladies and gentlemen, has always actually helped me in kind of falling asleep, and I think it's a wonderful exercise. So almost on the 6th or the 7th deep breath, I am asleep, so the next morning when I wake up, I was like, I just started deep breathing, and so I'm waking up in the morning. So it does do wonders a lot. And then at the same time, I believe that anxiety and all of these issues can be dealt with if you work out, if you exercise, if you cycle, do whatever you love, may it be swimming, may it be running. So please make sure that you kind of look after your mental health as well. At this point of time, we're heading out towards a short break, but when you guys will come back, we will be in conversation with people who are actually working towards a mission, ladies and gentlemen, where it's going to help at least 13 sustainable development goals. How? That's something which we will talk about in the next segment as well. We're heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Good morning.
All right, everybody, thank you very much for staying tuned to PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning alongside Miss Maheen Jafri and Shahzad Hassan Khan. And for everybody who just tuned in, haha, a very warm welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Happy Friday in the first place. Please make sure that you remember us, our entire team, in your prayers as well. That's what we require the most as well. Before heading out towards a short break, we did touch upon how we kind of get rid of all of those ill thoughts which we get, or probably thoughts which take us towards a very negative sort of a feeling where we are insecure, we certainly are not sure about what's going to happen in our life. So imagine, I only have one answer to that. Number one, you really need to recognize all such sorts as well. Make sure that you have a resolve, make sure that you address those thoughts. That's the first point. Make sure that you're not in denial. The second point, where I said that it's the most important one, so you really need to come back to number one as well, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, that we really need to have faith. The power of faith will actually take you to places. And it's because of the fact that, imagine that when we were born, we certainly didn't had a single piece of cloth. And since then, we, alhamdulillah, have had food, we have had roof over our heads, we're living a healthy life, we have children, we have wife, we have a support system. So what are we scared of? So please make sure that you're not insecure because of the future, because you certainly do not know whether you're going to live the next second or not. And that's how unpredictable life is. But coming down to how to kind of avoid such kind of thought processes as well, for me, going to the gym, deadlifting 150 kg does not really let any thought come into my mind. The only thought is, Allah kare main isko utha lu. So that's how it is. And exercise will always help. But today it happens to be World Bicycle Day, ladies and gentlemen, and I think it's a very important day. It goes back in 2018 when the resolution was adopted by all 193 UN member states as well. And bicycling is what actually contributes to at least 13 sustainable development goals. And that's
Wow.
not it. The best part over here is that, you know, to increase awareness, according to the United Nations, it is a sustainable transport system. That's something, obviously it is sustainable, but does it really kind of add on to our economic growth? That's one thing which I'm very intrigued to ask. And not just that, imagine when we talk about economic growth, we really need to talk about how cycling obviously reduces inequalities.
Yes,
You know, so if
exactly.
everybody's going to work on a bicycle, I don't think anybody's going to feel bad, huh, ji?
Exactly.
Even if we have a BMX or a Sorab or, you know, whatever brand, you know, bicycle is a bicycle, and I think that's best as well. Not just that, bolstering the fight against climate change, I think bicycling will always help for that as well. But to kind of talk about it, we're very lucky that we've been joined with General Saab over here. And so first of all, his name is General, and then he happens to be the Secretary General of the Islamabad Cycling Association as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky that we've been joined by Mr. Haroon. General, hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Good
Walaikum
morning.
Assalam, Walaikum Assalam. So how are you?
Absolutely perfect. I was about to ask the same question as well. How
I
are
knew
you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's lovely to be here, and it's always good to join you guys. And
Thank you
it's
very
you know, I'm very happy that you try to promote cycling and sports and all of these activities, and it's a great thing. That
And you
do.
know what? I've always loved cycling. In fact, you know, I used to cycle, for example, because my mother never used to allow me quite often that, you know, hey, you are allowed to go take your bicycle wherever you want to go. So she would always have that in her mind that, you know, I'm somewhere around the house. But imagine, so if I was living in F11, I would be found in G6, you know, somewhere there, you know, going around with friends and cycling.
We
and
all
it has
have fond memories
And it
related
has,
to
it has
that,
always
yeah.
helped me. Imagine that, you know, I would actually participate in a bicycling race as well on every 14th of August, because right in front of our house there was a park and they would do such activities. And even with my BMX, I would actually score third position while boys were on their mountain bikes and whatnot. So, you know,
Oh,
the
wow.
passion was there.
passion
was
You know, I've always been that as well. But alongside him, ladies and gentlemen, on today, since it happens to be World International Bicycle Day as well, imagine that they actually did go cycling early in the morning. So
Wow.
they actually started somewhere. Where did you guys start from?
We started from Faisal Masjid.
Wow.
And then we went out to the Magla Road, we went to the Constitution, and we did the whole loop and went back to the Faisal Masjid.
Wow, that's wonderful. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, he truly deserves to be a general. And it's because of the fact that, imagine, we cannot even judge from his looks, but he, alhamdulillah, happens to be my elder brother, you know, let me put it
Mashallah,
that
that's
way.
what I
And
asked
look how young he
Shehzad.
looks, and it's not because of his genes or genetics, it's because of cycling, right?
That's true, and it's a studied fact that it makes you look 10 years younger.
Wow.
Wow.
So I tell a lot of women that, so if you cycle regularly, it will make you look 10 years younger, so you should cycle more.
You know what? It should actually make me look 10 years younger too as well, because I do bicycle. Well, in fact, I do cycle, you know, while I'm at the gym, and I do it 30 minutes every single day.
This is what I wanted to
And in
point out
30
as
minutes,
well.
I go at least 30 kilometers.
Oh, that's great.
So, but why doesn't it make me look 10 years younger?
You need to go out.
I was
on
about
the
to
road.
say the same thing. People generally would not, you know, do these kind of activities, but they would pay, go in the gym and do the same thing. Do, you know, pedaling inside the gym
Wow,
rather than
gee,
going
wow. You know,
outside.
there's a lot of other things in the gym too as well.
Of
So
course,
we're not
but-
only paying for
but
the
this is
cycle.
a general
It's all right. I'm
yeah.
not taking it on me. But you know, why not? When you've said it, let me say something too as well. But alongside Mr. Haroon General, ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky that we've actually been joined by another participant who definitely did participate in the rally, which took place today from Faisal Mas to D-Chowk. D-Chowk, yes. D-Chowk's very famous these days as well.
We want to keep it healthy, you know.
Yeah. So she happens to be Miss Maliha Noor. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
Assalamualaikum. Good morning to you too. I'm good.
Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you. So, you people obviously have our respect and our viewers' respect, and it's because of the fact that you are the ambassadors of change. And we have spoken about it. You've been on the show before. Even you've been on the show before too as well. So let's first of all, let me ask you that. You know, how would you highlight the importance of this day, and why do you think this day is important?
Basically, as we have a lot of other days being celebrated, the specific days celebrated so that we make more events on this. We have a few people coming in, and actually, as you said as well, like in the media, when something is highlighted, and it you know, creates a ripple effect. So
Yeah.
these are your words, and I totally agree with
Thank
them, because as soon as people start seeing. As we have a saying, "Jungle mein mor nacha kisne dekha." You know, so that's the saying. So we need to actually let people know that you can do this. And for a lot of people, it was a very big thing. Oh my God, you're getting up in the morning, going out cycling. We had 3 ambassadors today who joined us, and again, it was not something that we had officially invited them, we just had circulated. And we had those ambassadors coming in, and they were very happy to see, and they said Islamabad is such a lovely city to cycle in. So for that, actually, you know, it created a very good impression of our country as well. And I think one of the ambassadors was here for about 2 months, and this was the first time she was out. And she said, I will now definitely be cycling more.
Wow.
So again, if somebody at that level actually gives a good impression of the country, so that's what we're looking for.
Wow.
And we want more kids to join in actually. It's not just the elders, we want the new generation, because actually it's for them.
True.
And they are the ones who have to take this forward. And these days everyone is into tablets, gaming and stuff like that. So with my own kids, we said, okay, you have to do this first and then you get these stuff. So, you know, we had to keep that balance out. So I hope we are able to do that for other kids as well.
Wow.
Create such activities so that they see that people can ride. For example, I commute as well. At times I go to the university, and what happens is...
Where do you live?
But I'm in G7.
And where is your university?
It's basically E8, so it's very,
Oh, that's fine.
not
Yeah.
that far, not that far. It's like
20
by
minutes.
car.
That's impressive.
No, actually
Even
by
if
car
he's
it
often-
takes me around 20 minutes, and on bicycle it takes me around 15.
Wow.
It takes me less time.
Wow.
It's because of the traffic. You're parked on the signal and you're standing there for 5 minutes, and whereas on the bicycle you can just simply
Cross
walk
it,
across.
yeah.
And it's lighter on the pocket too as well.
Much lighter.
But what about your tummy, man? You obviously need to feed yourself more when you're cycling more as well.
Well, actually, that's the thing. When we started, we didn't have internet and everything. I read in a magazine, and it was from a cyclist. He said, "Eat whatever you can, just burn it."
Wow.
Oh.
So you're burning it ever
So
since.
we were doing that. You know, we just go out and if you cycle for 30 minutes a day, even on a regular, you're not exerting or anything of that sort. It reduces your cardiovascular system. System improves the cardiovascular. Heart attack, 53%. Chances are less. If you do 30 minutes regular cycling.
But there'll still be chances, right?
There's still chances.
God forbid.
Obviously, there's still chances. But as you said, like, how does the economic benefits come out of it?
I wanted to come back to this, but
Yeah.
I wanted to move on to Miss Malia first of all. So,
Yeah.
Miss Malia, you've been in this capacity before as well, but this day is a very important day, and for even us, because this is for the first time that we're actually observing World Bicycle Day as well. We've talked about cycling, how healthy it is, but how was it for you? Because these days, you know, Mr. Haroon General Saab actually spoke very rightly, and he's on point where he said that kids these days use a lot of tablets. And these days, what I've seen is that cycling is not even common, and it's so hard for the kids to learn cycling. With us, you know, I actually learned cycling. I'm sorry that I'm sharing and I'm taking too much time as well. So we were 7 brothers and sisters. We never had a bicycle at our place. So my elder sister was getting married, and my mother asked me to go get something from the market. So I went to my neighbors and I asked them, can I have ask for your bicycle? And they were generous enough, and they gave me the bicycle. The next thing you know, a car hit me, and I was all gone. And then my father next day picked me up and he was like, all right, you know, let's go, let's take a bicycle. And then it was us fighting over bicycle over and over again. We were so much in love with it. How was it for you in the first place? How did you started bicycling? Who taught you? And then how is it for you today?
I've been cycling since my childhood. We never had a cycle, but any gardener who would come to our place on the cycle, we would just grab that and go out on the road.
That's the kind of spirit I'm
That's
talking
the
about.
spirit, yeah.
So this is how I had actually learned cycling, and we were cycling. We were in Lahore back in those days. It was very like we could cycle comfortably on those roads as well. But having said that, these days, yes, our generation, our youth, they are all on these tablets and
yes.
mobile and all, and this is actually increasing the stress level and the anxiety
is,
level
no
as
doubt,
well.
no doubt.
We need to tell them to come out on the cycles or go outside or do some exercise. Any exercise actually helps you reduce the stress and anxiety, and cycling being the most important one, and it plays a very, very important role
Because
in
of
that.
the fresh air as well, no? You're going
Fresh
outside
air,
actually.
and then the cyclists around you, they're actually cycling produces good hormones in your body, which reduces stress. So and you're close to nature as well, and the group around you, normally the people around you, when you see them, they all have those positive
yeah, you
vibes.
kind of create a community.
Yes, exactly.
Of your tribe, basically. So how come there were lots of cycles during 1999 and 2000, but slowly, you know, they started vanishing? So,
So
how
there are
come
two
this-
types. There's modern bicycle and there's humble bicycle, right?
Well, actually, that humble bicycle is still there.
Which one's the humble bicycle, by the way?
You call the Sorab the
The humble bicycle,
The humble
alright.
bicycle. You know, so that's the simple bicycle.
And the
and a lot
modern
of
one is here.
Yes,
Yeah.
but actually that bike is a very sturdy bike, and a lot of people use them. But it doesn't really matter which bike you're riding, as long as you're riding. One of
Yeah,
the-
I think it's hard to take Sorab to Munal or probably, you know,
I know
Peace
people
Wawa.
who have done that.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
very difficult. Yes,
It is
young,
very difficult,
very
yeah.
difficult, but they've done it. There are one or two guys who used to do it regularly. Then we bought them bicycles, you know, because we wanted them on the team of our
Yeah.
Islamabad. So we said, "You're doing that, so let's bring you here," and they improved a lot. And they're part of the Islamabad team. They played national level games as well.
Must
so
be legendary.
yeah, so we have people like that as well. But the reason I was saying like you need to go out is because when you go out, you get to feel the air, you actually get to see the green, and that reduces a lot of stress. You know, green is the shade that is recognized maximum by our eyes. So when you see green, it gives you a calm effect. And in a lot of cities, you know,
So are you feeling calm as of now?
oh yes, much calm.
Because we made you sit in a green environment. You know, for people who are out there, you might not. You know, this is not how you. The way you're seeing your screen right now, ladies and gentlemen, is not the way it is. While we sit over here, so for you, the presentation, obviously, we do take care of it as well. But we have made sure that Mr. Harun General and Miss Malia over here is actually going to sit
Feel
in a very
good and
green
yeah.
environment.
Green
And, you know,
environment.
it is always really very peaceful. But obviously, when it's grass and when it's trees,
Yeah.
when it's
Exactly.
walls which are being painted green as well. But now coming down towards where I said that, how do you think that's you know, kind of making sure that when we promote bicycling or cycling, it's going to actually contribute towards economic growth? You know, this is something which I don't get.
Okay, it's pretty simple. For example, I'll take an example from a child going to school.
Yep.
We have so many children going to school. That means so many cars going to school. So if you convert all of those children going on bicycles to school, because we used to do that. I remember our school basement, it was filled and there were bicycles parked on top of bicycles
Yep.
because we had so many bicycles there and people used to ride over there. So again, you're reducing carbon emissions, so global warming is there, you're reducing the fuel that you're using, you're reducing the stress on your parents as well. So they're less stressful, they just need to go to office, they don't need to, you know, take you
Unless
there.
they
and
have a childhood like Shahzad.
So that's one of the things. So it's just one single adoption. Second of all, for example, we invest a lot on car infrastructure. Let's say if you bring out one interchange. So the cost of one interchange, if you translate that to the bicycle tracks, if you want to give those, can be done to the entire city. So, you know, instead of one interchange, you make the entire city bicycle friendly and you start people, you know, it's a big difference.
I think it's great, but you know, even then at the same time, we do need alternate, you know, solutions for ourselves as well. For example, you know, with the increasing petrol prices within the country, we really need to kind of look at, you know, alternative sources, which probably needs to be a public transport system. But unfortunately, we do not have that from street to street or probably from one place to another. Obviously, for that, I'll have to reach Blue Area first and then come towards my workplace, and the metro will do a fantastic job. But if I'm going over there, so we really need to build infrastructure in any way, you know, may it be for any alternate source.
Actually, that's the infrastructure that I'm talking about, because nobody brings the vehicle to your home. You have to bicycle there, and a lot of people do that. You go to most of the European countries, you basically cycle there. You have a cycle parking there.
Yeah.
So you park your bicycle there, you get onto the bus, and you can take it. Even if not that, there are buses available which have bicycle parking in them.
Yep.
So what you do is you take the bike, you put it in the bus, and you have to pay a little bit extra for that. And you have those folding bikes.
And
so
for
people,
that, you need to have a lot of passion, right? You're taking your bike and cycling.
well,
you know, bus.
passion, yes, for
Passion,
anything.
or if you know that how much money you need to save this month,
Exactly.
that will help you.
Actually, if you work out that, the money that you'll be saving, and it's not just actually, we don't look at long-term benefits. Your health is a very long-term benefit. If you improve your health, the money that you're going to spend, our national spending on health is so much, as you said, like how the economics benefit. We spend so much on our health and so many issues, so many problems, diabetes, we've got sugar, you
Heart
name any
diseases,
disease, we've got all those diseases here. So if we start, not just cycling, if you start physical activity, it's just walking. People don't even walk to the bus stop and they don't, no, I can't walk, it's a taboo. Oh, if somebody sees me walking, they will think less of me. If somebody sees me cycling, they will think less of me. I was working in the government sector. I was cycling, and my staff was like, "Sir, you will cycle?" And they had that look on their face that, "Oh my God, what
This
blasphemy
is
you're
something-
doing!"
Yes, this is
Yeah.
something I was talking about before the program, that there's a notion of, relating this to the status as well. And when you're walking and, maybe going for an interview or job, and people are going to wonder, oh my God, look at, how he's or she's coming, what
Sir,
kind
तो
of
पहले
car.
साइकिल पे आए हैं.
हाँ, पहले ही साइकिल पे आएंगे,
Something
हमारा
like
क्या
that.
होगा?
But which is why I'm going to move on to Miss Malia over here. So obviously, men, boys cycling in Pakistan. It's been seen very casually and normal too as well. For women to actually cycle, and obviously, alhamdulillah, in the past decade, I've seen the things have changed. And I would want to admit over here. So one day, I saw a woman riding a motorbike, and I was like, hey, you know what? This is so shocking. And I put up a story. This is what I call women empowerment. They're doing their stuff by themselves as well. Then I realized, hey, you know what? I really need to ask for the permission first before I take a picture. So then I had to stop at a light, and I was like, I took a picture of yours, I'm going to post it. She was like, yeah, I'll allow you to do so as well. How is it for women cycling on their own? Do you think that the environment is conducive, or we really need more awareness amongst people?
More aware.
We definitely need more awareness. Yes.
And share incidents, so that we can educate our viewers.
The thing is that since I cycle as a family, we have started cycling as a family.
Wow.
We are never out alone. It's
Mashallah.
either my husband, my sons, we are all out cycling. My little one, who is only 5, he has been cycling with the group as well, or
Mashallah.
otherwise as well. So there isn't any such incident which I can quote here, but I definitely know that there have been incidents with the ladies cycling out alone. We need to promote the awareness, definitely. We need to claim our space on the roads. We need to come out. We need to give this permission to our ladies at the home to come out on the road for cycling. And yes, there are a lot here in Islamabad, especially. We have a lot of groups here, cycling groups, and they are so we cycle in such a friendly way that it feels like we are already cycling with our family members.
Wow.
So we need to build that community. We need to build that awareness that yes, if you decide to come out, you can cycle with the group, and that's just the beginning. My point of being here today, skipping my work day, was mainly because if I can only maybe motivate one person to come out on the cycle, that would mean a lot.
And yes, obviously, that's the sole reason why we have you here as well, that we really need to contribute towards the 13 SDGs as well, Sustainable Development Goals. And we even have pictures which we will be sharing in a while too as well. But for the General Secretary of Islamabad Cycling Association, I have a very important question. Because, you have such a bigger responsibility, and that is to make sure that that the entire group, you really need to protect them at all times. So how do you take all of those measures? What are those measures that you put in place, or SOPs, standard operating procedures, which will always help your team and your crew and the cyclists to be safe in the first place? Because Islamabad, I think, is the only city in the country where we have cycling lanes finally, alhamdulillah. I think till F8,
Alhamdulillah.
F7 and F6, all of these 3 sectors do have cycling lanes. So how do you do that? How do you make sure that you share those SOPs
It's a very
with us?
important question.
Well, actually, it's pretty simple from a perspective of a ride, because when we have a ride, so we have somebody who's leading the ride, somebody who's sweeping.
At the back, yeah.
So they're actually controlling that ride, and we tell everyone that they need to stay on the left. So it's like the basic traffic rules. Anyone who's riding should wear a helmet. You should have some visibility jacket on if you're riding at night. If you're riding at night, you need to have a light. So these are the few basics that we
We've
always
been
keep.
sharing pictures from the thing you guys did in the morning as well.
Yeah, these are the ones in the morning.
Yeah.
So basically, if you see everyone's wearing a helmet. So everyone has to wear a helmet, and because it's very important. People think just wearing a helmet is not enough. I've seen motorbikes wearing just a simple helmet, and they keep
Or the cycle helmet as well.
a cycle helmet. You need to wear it properly, actually, because if it's not tightened up properly, even God forbid if you fall, the helmet immediately goes, and you. To be honest, I've opened. I think I've broken about 3 to 4 helmets over the years. So I tell people, if that helmet wasn't there, so I wouldn't be here. So yes, we were doing a few stunts, not on the regular cycling or anything. But so that's one of the most important. The second thing that we are actually putting forward, we are actually working with the ITP as well. And we have actually a launching ceremony today for kids as well. And that's basically, they have called it a cycling rodeo. And it's basically for kids, and to teach them what the basic rules are. Because the problem that we always face is you need a driving license to take your car, but you don't need a license to take a bicycle on the road. And obviously you don't, but you need to give that kid an idea about what happens is suddenly you're driving and a kid swirls across.
Yes.
And you were like, oh, thank God I didn't hit the kid. And so we need to tell them what those lanes are, what those rules are, how to cycle, what road sense is. So we're trying to develop those courses for them as well. So, we start at that age, and the idea is basically to take it to different schools. So every school has that. And the schools have those. So we're trying to bring in these kind of programs with them as well.
And I think it's beautiful, and thank you very much for saying that every now and then we see a kid just pass by us very fast as well, riding their bicycle with a lot of passion. And that's exactly what happened to me when a car hit me, because so towards the end of the street, so there was this street, and then so before the street there was this bump, and then we would usually land onto our park surface, right? So it was all green as well. So in between there was this street as well, so it was a T junction. So I got off from my home and I was cycling, and then I took off to the bump, and then here comes the car.
Whoa.
And obviously, so there was no awareness. I didn't have a bicycle
I'm
in my
sure there
place.
was
I
no
borrowed
helmet
it
as
from
well.
somebody else. Had to buy them another bicycle as well. So obviously these awareness programs need to be there.
very
But when it comes down to health, security, and safety, I'm glad that all of these SOPs are in place. But God forbid, there are more people like me. Harun bhai helmet ghar pe reh gaya yaar aaj phir. So then that's the point where you really need to be strict with your SOPs. So how do you impose those SOPs, and how do you leave them out?
Actually, at times if somebody is there and he's there to ride, we then have to let him ride, because we can't stop him because it's an open road.
Aapki kismat hai.
No, but actually then what happens is generally in the group everyone is at one point you didn't wear a helmet. So we have different people going. So it's more on a psychological side that next time he's like, oh, I need to get that helmet because they will keep bugging me. So that's generally what we try to do. We keep them, letting them know, you need a helmet, this. Then somebody tells them a story. It's not just me, there are other people as well. So they tell him, I fell, I broke a helmet, and this happened, and there was an accident, and not to scare them off of cycling, just so that they get their safety gear and protective gear there as well.
Yeah, I want to pose a question to Maliha. Maliha, you were talking about the awareness maybe, and the other day I was watching this scene actually. A lady was going on a scooty, and I could see the people's head panning from right to left. It was creating more awareness is so important, because you are mashallah lucky that you're going out with your family and you have a community. But what about those ladies who really are passionate about it and they want to, one, how can they join your club or community, and second, what would you suggest to them? What are the proper timings? How can they come out? What kind of lanes they should, just like we were talking about.
I have a very interesting reply to this question, but please.
I want to.
Okay, one
That's
thing
why you're
is
laughing
how
both
to join the group. It's very easy. We have a Facebook page, Critical Mass Islamabad. You can easily join the group and you will get the updates about the rides.
Can you please repeat that?
Critical Mass Islamabad.
Okay.
Yes. And then about the timing, there isn't any right time. I think we should be able to go out whenever we feel like. And there is one thing which I personally feel, I'm not sure how everyone else would take that if you're not looking at anyone, nobody is looking at you. The more you will focus on others, you will see those
But
eyes
it's
looking at you.
I'm sorry, but it's so apparent. I mean, you don't want to get conscious, you don't want to think, but then of course there's you cannot just ignore that. So many.
You can.
You have a natural. Okay, well, my
Only if
opinion is
somebody does not
different.
come up to your face and be like, hey, you know what, I'm looking at you. And even then, I mean,
It's not just cycling, it's everywhere.
It's
You go
everywhere.
in the
It's
market
everywhere,
and it happens.
Yeah.
I'll quickly share the story. When we cycle, we have all our kit and everything on. So one of my friends, she used to cycle and she said, oh, I don't feel comfortable going out. And I said, okay, you come along with us and you ride with us. She rode with us. When she came back after the training, she said, I'm okay riding by myself. I said, why? She said, you know what, I am being hooted by one gender, you guys are being hooted by both the genders. So we never noticed. As he said, we never noticed, we never registered, because we knew we were like, so into it, we didn't really care. So it's more on you as well. You're right, people need to have that awareness, and I think at the start, as he said, people generally get used to it. So when you see more people riding, and then they go like, oh yeah, this is Islamabad or this is that place, people ride here and people cycle here. So if
That's
we
the
can
only
actually
way.
develop that,
Yeah.
that's what we're looking for.
And alhamdulillah, you've contributed quite a lot towards that as well. And I'm always very happy, you know, early in the morning when I'm coming towards work, I will always come across at least 8 or 10 cyclists, you know, who are on their way. They would,
I was
and
the
with
same, yeah.
all of their gear, you know, it's not that, you know, subah utthe cycle nikali aur chal pade. So they would have a helmet, they would have a flicker or a blinker light, you know, at the back as well, and they would always make sure. And, you know, so that interesting story why I was
Yeah,
laughing
please
too
share, go
was that
ahead.
imagine, so I used to ride bikes, you know, heavy bikes, and I was always very keen to do that as well. So, you know, whenever you're on a bike, obviously, you know, everybody's going to compliment you as well. And then there were a lot of head turns as well, you know, people who won't like the sound of it and all of that. So everybody goes through it. I think saying that only men do it or women do it, because I think Johnny Depp has won the case for a lot of people where, you know, domestic violence, you know, it's not only women subjected to that. Like, imagine there was a lot of crying in that case by Amber Heard as well. And, you know, that, oh, you know what, I am the one, I'm the victim over here. So imagine
Kind of
men most
twisted
of the
the
time
perception.
cannot, probably because of the cultural pressure, which we really need to kind of get rid of, come out and say, hey, you know what, meri begum mere pe to shaddud karti. You know, nobody can say
ऐसा
that.
नहीं हो
You
सकता
know,
वैसे
because this is a
पाकिस्तान।
cultural perspective. But imagine, ladies and gentlemen, that it is both ways. You know, we cannot only refer to one gender only again and again. Yes, it does happen. I'm with you on that. But it does happen for us too as well.
Pakistan,
Let's
I
be
think
on that together, and I think that will help us.
That would be 1% or 2% in Pakistan.
I mean, for that, we really need a survey, and I think it can be even 50%, because if the global population
never
of
know.
women is 55%, I think that the percentage is going to be quite higher as well. Well, thank you very much for being with us. Lovely to be in
Thank you
conversation.
so much.
Thank
And it
you.
was wonderful to kind of talk about such activities where, you know, people do feel healthy. Imagine you going out with your family, son, husband. I think that will be your
This is
time
so
of the family
encouraging.
too as well. And,
Mashallah.
you know, that's how you nurture, that's how you grow, that's how you stick together as well. So anything towards the end you want to say something, please go ahead.
I would say cycle more
Yeah.
and live free.
Live free.
Because it gives you the freedom, and it gives you that energy that you need to go pass the whole day through that energy. Because if you go out in the morning, you feel that energy going through you, and you feel the nature, because nature is something that we should be close to. So that's the closest we can get, and I think you should think positive, and it always brings out the positive in you.
Wow, that's
So-
wonderful.
That's great.
What about you, Maliha?
Cycling is one sport in which you only need a cycle of your own to get on it and just start doing
Just
it.
start.
And that's it. And it's not really important that you kind of invest quite a lot in your bicycle, ladies and gentlemen. It only needs to have 2 wheels. Make sure that they're working, rotating, and that's it pretty much. And you know, one very quick thing, we'll be very short in time. This is something which I have felt always, and that is that whenever I used to take my cycle to the repair guy, you know, he would repair one thing, but you know, he would do something bad to the other thing as well. So you know, 2 days later, I'm
That
going
also
to him again.
happens.
That's a culture, right?
Not really.
Not really, okay.
Not really.
I'm wrong here. Yes, I admit. Okay, thank you very much. I stand corrected. Well, it was a wonderful show today. Thank you
Yeah,
very
it
much
was
for
lovely
joining us.
having you
Wonderful
guys
to
here.
have you here. You want to share something?
No, I think just go out, and we can also think of going to Multan on bicycle. Shahzad.
Multan?
What do you think?
I think we're
He had a
really-
plan actually,
We
so
would
I
really
was just
want a tunnel to
suggesting.
cycle in as well, because it's too hot. But please make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you consider the weather before going out. You know,
Yeah.
we really do not want anybody to get heat stroke too as well, because on bicycle you're exerting quite a lot. So please make sure that you look after, and then go on for whatever you've planned for as well. Make sure that you write to us on our Facebook page, which happens to be with the name of,
Well, this morning.
on Twitter,
Well, this morning.
on Daily Motion in YouTube.
Well, this morning.
And the fabulous repeat is going to be at 10:05 tonight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. Remember us in your prayers always. Till the next time, look after yourselves. We'll see you on Monday. 1, 2, 3. Good
Good
morning.
morning.